All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the 10th season start of the Walking Dead television series. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts on some recent news for the Walking Dead concerning the possible end for the television series, how that will go down, and Robert Kirkman sort of letting us know that it will not spontaneously end like the comics did. Alright, sweet, so I am back at it. My internet was down there for over a day, which absolutely sucked, but I'm happy to see it's back now. I wanted to give my thoughts on some of the recent news and articles we have surrounding the Walking Dead television series, and just different stuff that's kind of been out there right now for you guys. So, this one surrounding the Walking Dead television series and how eventually it's likely going to end. We've got some information from the interviews at San Diego Comic-Con. Different site links will be in the description for you guys if you want to see. Express.co.uk has a pretty good one from Robert Kirkman, and what he said was that, quote, anyone that's concerned that the fact that this comic book wrapped up means that Season 10 is going to somehow spontaneously end on Episode 4 as a surprise, that's not going to happen. There's a lot more story to tell, and I'm very excited to be working with Scott and Angela to figure out if there are any other threads in the comic that we didn't quite get to bring the world past that point. So, okay, so basically confirmation that the Walking Dead television series is not going to end spontaneously, just like the comic did, which is good because, out of every major death or everything that they did in the Walking Dead comic book series all those years, it ending actually might be the most, kind of the way it did, might be the most shocking thing about The Walking Dead, really. If you think of it this way, he did really get us with that, because we all expected to see another 100 issues, and it just ended all of a sudden. Even this month, I was kind of expecting to see, like, okay, is he going to release something like some other kind of spin-off that he had in the works for Walking Dead, or Negan something, or something else, and there's nothing. It's like, okay, I guess it really is the end. So, but I'm happy to hear from him that the Walking Dead television series is not going to end in the same way, because I mean, that kind of sucked, didn't it? It sucks. And I'm still feeling it, man, because usually around this time we'd be getting another issue of The Walking Dead each month. Like, about a month ago we had 193. So, 4 or 5 weeks later you're expecting to get, the very next month another issue of Walking Dead, and there isn't one. So it's like, oh man, maybe I'll have to check out some of his other comics or other stuff that Robert Kirkman's done. But I'm happy to hear that for the television series. That's something that, sometimes things do spontaneously end, but if the Walking Dead television series did, or the television series universe as a whole just spontaneously ended like that, man, that would really suck. So we got some more info about the possible end for The Walking Dead. It's, top of mind since so many series are ending right now, and The Walking Dead comics just ended. Everybody thinking like, okay, is the TV series going to end too? And from everything we've heard so far, the answer is no, not at all. It's not going to end anytime soon. It'd be crazy to think if it actually got more than 15 or 16 seasons, because that would be more years it would be on than the comic series was released for, which would be crazy. So the next one is from Gale Anne Hurd, and kind of speculation that the Walking Dead television series might end with Judith in the same kind of way that the comics ended with Carl. So spoiler warning for the comics, if you read 193 or you've seen my videos for it, the comic book has a happy ending. You get to see Carl. He's kind of fully grown up, and he's got a family of his own and everything. The dead are basically defeated. They're turned into a circus act, basically, which is sort of debatable on whether or not that's something that should be allowed. But they're under control, and the safe zone is like a major safe zone. It's not just like this Alexandria little safe zone spot with a bunch of houses and stuff. No, we get the sense this is like maybe a whole state or something like that. That's that's clear, like a huge section, huge area, right? So it says, the Walking Dead executive producer Gale Anne Hurd wants to see the show go out on the same hopeful note as Robert Kirkman's recently ended comic book, but says the show still has, quote, a long way to go before we get there. And of course, for me to chime in on that one too, is that obviously there's other series they're doing too, because they got the original series. The movies are going to be their own thing. Fear might still be going for a couple more years. We'll have to see how many years that goes for. They got an additional series going on now, and it sounds like AMC wants to even add on more after that. So I don't know how much they're going to add on, if this is maximum right now capacity for everything they can do. But who knows? Based on everything they've said, I would not be surprised if in the next few years they started up something else Walking Dead additional as well too, just because they're so, Dead Quarters, AMC, that kind of thing. They're so heavily invested in it right now. It says, well, that's certainly more of a question probably for The Walking Dead Chief Content Officer Scott Gimple and AMC and showrunner Angela Kang, but I have to tell you, I read the comic book. Hurd said at San Diego Comic-Con when asked about how the book's unexpected ending in July might inform the TV show. And she says, I fall into the camp of, I thought it was brilliant. Maybe part of it is because I so appreciated that Robert Kirkman thanked us, which he didn't have to do. But I loved that it had a hopeful ending, a hopeful world, and I was wondering how he was going to pull that off, and I thought it was brilliant. So it sounds like she was a fan of it. She liked it, and so probably going forward, the theory for how the Walking Dead TV series probably will end might be something similar, but with Judith instead. I think is right now what kind of makes sense, as because Judith is sort of the kind of like the reinvented Carl of the TV series. You have Carl and his story arc ends just due to the actor growing up over time, and the way people age and the number of seasons that went through, and him growing up faster. In the comic version, obviously Carl was still like very young, even further on past that time. So it's kind of been shifted over to Judith. So that's what I think we might see, right? So it says here, so she liked it. Sounds like she liked the ending for it. The book ended, so they explain how it ended with Carl living a peaceful life, that kind of thing. But it says, quote, but we have a long way to go before we get there. It says so. There's a lot of stuff that they're gonna do beforehand. And I even think I still think, especially after thinking it through again, as I read it through again, 192, 191, 192, 193. I even still think that he probably intended to go longer, and at some point he decided he was just going to wrap it up now and just finish it off, because there's some storylines there, like for example Carl ending up with Sophia instead of Lydia. In 191 and 192, we're led to believe that he's in a relationship with Lydia, and then all of a sudden after the time jump, he's with Sophia, and they're married and have a daughter and everything like this. So there's some important things that were in there that we didn't really get to see in the Walking Dead story. And, personally, I feel like he just decided to kind of skip over it in favor of making it kind of a Rick type of ending, which is what he did do. But there's obviously a lot of stuff he could have done in there if he wanted to, with AMC having control of the TV series version and them wanting to pump out as much as they can. They're probably going to leave nothing left unturned. You're going to see probably all that stuff. It's probably going to fill in basically everything, because they want to produce as much as they can for it, because it does so well for them. And the great thing about the television series is we can either jump ahead by a number of years, or we could play those intervening years out in the show. And I think it really will be a question of decisions made at a higher level, but I think we have a great roadmap, so they've got a plan way ahead, it sounds like. So Kirkman also was also sure to reassure fans The Walking Dead won't spontaneously end, like we said. So we don't have to worry about that. A lot more story to tell, that kind of thing. I'm very excited to be working. Okay, cool. And basically, that the AMC programming chief, David Madden, later said, the cabler is happy with the performance of his flagship series, which has produced 2 spin-offs for the network, and also Talking Dead and Ride with Norman Reedus, and then they replay it all the time, right? So they get to rerun it all the time. So it's not just as big as the first, airing of it. It's like they can replay those things over and over again. They can have dead marathons and stuff like that, and everything. And I'm not sure how those perform in comparison to just playing movies or something, but I would think pretty good, considering they do it every year. They do it all the time. So Madden said, I'm not showing the TV show will go 20 seasons, but I'm not saying that it won't either. So it sounds like there's a long way left to go for the Walking Dead television series. You don't have to worry, guys, about it ending spontaneously, it sounds like, and neither do I, because I'm still kind of, coming down from that big ending for the comics, which was so unexpected. Just did not expect to see that at all, and kind of messes you up, because as a fan, you love the series, you love to see it all the way through, and then it just abruptly ends like that. But sometimes in real life, that's how things go. You kind of have these plans of these things, you think it's going to go a certain amount of time, and you don't get as much out of it as you thought you would. So that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. But happy to hear that won't be happening with the TV series version. So let me know what you guys think about that, how you're feeling about the fact that we'll be able to know ahead of time when they're going to end it, and how you think the TV series will end. Like I said, my theory right now would be, at least based on where we're at right now, in the future we'll have to see how different it is, but that it will likely end with Judith in sort of a similar fashion as what we saw with Carl in the comics. Some kind of similar type of ending for Judith would be cool. But they might change it up a little bit, which I think we can probably expect to see. James Price says we got some good questions for today, or just a couple comments. So I don't think Michonne should leave. I think they should just kill her off. So he's of the camp that he thinks that Michonne should just be killed off in the Walking Dead TV series instead of leaving. The thing is, though, is that if you do that, then you can't use her for the movies. And, it would be really great to see her reunited with Rick again in the movies. So that's why I think that she'll probably survive. But, according to James here is what he's thinking, not everybody will. And maybe he's right. Not everybody will survive out forever and that kind of thing. I mean, The Walking Dead is kind of built off of shocking big moments and big character deaths as we've seen throughout it. So you never know when they might pull one out. And we could see that with her instead of her kind of leaving. Her be killed off at some point here. And then Dave Robson says, Trev, have GOF ending. The only shows worth watching are The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead. Any of those shows you're looking forward to review. So basically, with Game of Thrones ending, I think he's meaning, and The Walking Dead comics ending, and Z Nation ending, Gotham ending. A lot of my favorite series this year just happened to, and I didn't expect to see this at all, and I wasn't, kind of prepared for that, but Game of Thrones, I was prepared for that ending because we knew that ahead of time that was what they were going to do. And it was great to see, it kind of wind down. And even if we were not happy with the way the story went in the end, a lot of us, at least we knew ahead of time and everything. And it wasn't the best ending, but we kind of knew that, something like that would happen for the end of the show. But I was not expecting to see, Z Nation canceled, Gotham ending the way it did. I love Gotham too, so that's another show that I haven't done too many videos for it, but I did like watching a lot over the years. So, and then the Walking Dead comics is, for me, it's actually bigger than Game of Thrones ending because the Walking Dead comic series, I love comics, and I would read more comics. It's just that they are a bit pricey. If you want to buy every one, it's like $4 or $5. If you buy a trade, it's like $20, $25 for every single one you do. So it's a bit pricey to collect comics, and it's hard to kind of find new series that you like because then you got to go buy a whole bunch, and it adds up pretty quick. And you're not sure if you're going to like them or not. You're not sure if you're going to want to get into one the same way as a lot of us were with the comic book series. So it, definitely there's some space there to see some other series that are gonna come out. The Game of Thrones prequel series will come out next year, which I guess I'll still check out, even though I didn't like the ending of Game of Thrones. But I have to say, they did entertain us and bring us some amazing episodes over the 8-year run, even if I really, really heavily disagree with the way it ended. Still, it was a great series over many years. And even like with the comics of The Walking Dead, I would have really rathered he would have told us ahead of time. He would have built up anticipation using that, and we would have seen some kind of final, ultimate climactic battle or something to kind of wind down the series where Rick is killed in the end or something, and it's kind of that type ending. We didn't see that for The Walking Dead. Instead, he went for kind of a shocking sort of ending for the comics, and then a time skip to a hopeful, nice ending. So it was kind of a weird mix of like shocking death for Rick at the hands of this punk kid, and then a happy sort of time skip ahead after that. So, man, I'll be looking for other series to check out with you guys, and I'm sure there'll be ones that, they're going to be coming up. Stranger Things is a great one and everything, even though Netflix releases the whole thing at once, so it's kind of tricky to review and to do the same thing the way we do for the Walking Dead television series. But we'll see, man. We'll see what comes out and what there is, but it's going to take some time, obviously. And as far as the Walking Dead comics ending, I mean those are big shoes to fill, right? It's going to be hard to find something that's going to fill that void. So luckily the TV series is still on because now that the comics have ended and it had a great ending with the hopeful ending for Carl and everything in the future, that was great. But it's like, damn, man, now this is not on anymore. So you have a void, you got to fill it with something. So damn, I love this stuff, man. So it's hard to find stuff that you're gonna you feel as passionate about, you're going to enjoy as much. It's not that easy, right? The Walking Dead is a special one for me anyway. So that'll be it for today's video, guys. Let me know what you think about how the television series should end. If you think like I do that it'll probably end with Judith, but it could be wrong in that. And also, are you happy to hear that they won't be spontaneously ending it? How are you feeling now about the comics having spontaneously just ended, even though more was promised and we didn't get it? Now that it's a month later and you'd be expecting to see a new release, How do you feel about it now that it's actually fully over and there's no there's no release? There's not. It's kind of it messes you up, man, because you're not used to it. You're like, oh, I'm gonna go to a comic shop this week. It's like no Walking Dead. Yeah, it's like, man, kind of used to that this month. So leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys think. And if you like this video today, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite, and subscribe at the bottom left if you're new. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.